are going to get started. So hello, everyone. Welcome to our overview for our Whitworth University. If you're thinking of transferring to Whitworth, or you're coming either from a two-year university or community college or a four-year university, that means you're interested in wanting to learn about the transfer process here at Whitworth. My name is Lisa Blumenthal. I serve as one of our associate directors of admission here at Whitworth. And one of my two jobs is to both help first-year students from the Central Washington region, but most importantly, our transfer students from the Spokane region. So I know all the ins and outs of this process, both from a transfer student myself. When I attended Whitworth, I transferred from a very small community college in Kansas, and I totally understand what that process is like. Um, and then also just being able to do this throughout the last 4 years has been super helpful. So what we're going to go over today is going to be an overview on Whitworth. We're also going to touch on some of the things that you can experience while you're here. I know it's a very important part of the process where you're choosing to transfer, what you're trying to get out of that, right? Whether that's 2 or 3 years that you spend with us, we know that it is a valuable time for you to finish your degree. We're going to touch on some financial aid, and then we will discuss a few of our transfer policies. So one of the main questions as a transfer student is, how are my credits going to transfer? So we're going to touch on some of our policies, and then from there, the chat can be available if you have any questions at the end, where you can throw those in. So to get started, we love talking about Whitworth as a place being worth seeking. Even as a transfer student, you are navigating a part of your life where either you started at a two-year community college for a variety of reasons, save money, you really were trying to figure out what to do, or you went to a four-year university and find out that that wasn't exactly what you envisioned for yourself. Whitworth is a place worth seeking because of the kind of experience that students will get out of here. Whether you're a first-year student or a transfer student, we know that there's going to be something for every student that chooses to come to this place. And one of the main reasons is because Whitworth really prioritizes relationship for students. So whether you're coming from a two-year or a four-year, if one of the main things that you consider about your college experience or where you learn the best has to do with your class size or your class environment, we know that Whitworth students do benefit a lot from that. And also with that also comes with many positive outcomes, like graduating on time, having some guidance along the way, not having any surprising classes that you didn't know that you didn't take. You really get someone that is in every corner cheering you on and making sure that as you go through the years at Whitworth, that you feel equipped and that you can finish and graduate with a degree and an opportunity to be employable after you leave. So one of the reasons why that happens is because of our size. I mentioned a little bit about this, but Whitworth only has about 2,000 students, and that's truly where we try and stay. We value that connection. Our campus is 200 acres, and 2,000 might not be a lot of people, but once you step foot here, you realize, I can also feel the sense of that college experience where it's not too small nor too big, but knowing that you can know the person that walks next to you every day or that you pass through with each other on your way to the coffee shop. With our student to faculty ratio of 11 to 1, students do really get to know their professors while they're here, and vice versa. Professors want to get to know students throughout their time at Whitworth. So whether you're thinking of, gosh, I really appreciate having that connection, that help, knowing that if I have a question, I can ask my professor directly, that's exactly what's going to happen here at Whitworth. And most importantly, when you come here, you're not just graduating with a degree and we say, good luck. We actually want students to be equipped. So with that comes opportunities to have research experience and internships. And I'll talk a little bit of what those look like. But looking at that percentage of students who are employed or in graduate school, that is probably one of the highest here in Washington State. So as you're thinking about that return of investment, what am I going to do in these next 2 or 3 years? Am I going to be employable? That percentage can really answer that question for you and make it feel like it's worth that investment, both your time and your resources, but also just overall getting to have a positive experience. With over 100 majors and programs to choose from, one of the really neat things at Whitworth is that when you apply to Whitworth University, You don't have to know exactly what you want to do. It's not uncommon to not really know what you're interested in. Most students do take the community college route to discern that, but if you're still not sure, or maybe you have a total change. I've worked with students who want to switch from business to health science. Like that is a big shift, but knowing that at Whitworth, you can kind of pick and choose what you'd like to do, is how we value our liberal arts education. So you're getting to take classes both that are related to your major, but also other classes that can easily and creatively complement what you're doing. So maybe you are a computer science major, but you take a sociology class as part of your social science requirement. There are definitely creative ways where you can put these two together and say creatively come up with an app or a coding mechanism to help something that relates to a system within an organization or like a nonprofit. So you really have ways where you can get creative, and that's how we live out our liberal arts education here. Our most popular majors that we see here for students, especially for transfer students, are things like psychology, the health sciences, so anything within like pre-med or things like that. Business is really big, engineering and computer science. That is not to say that we don't have other majors that are important. It just means these are the ones that I see and work with the most, the students who are interested in that transition, whether they're coming from a 2-year or a 4-year university. Outside of classes, we want you to be able to have that experience. Yes, you may just spend about 2 or 3 years with us, but we know that there's still room for you to get some experience. And this can look a variety of different ways. It can be opportunities to go study abroad. That is still an opportunity here at Whitworth, even as a transfer student. We go to over 60 countries around the world, and over half of students who graduated just this past year got to go study abroad. So it's not out of reach. In fact, it's actually something that we want all students to experience. And you're not limited to your major. So if you still have a few gen eds that you need to take and you're thinking, well, maybe I want to do this abroad, that is an opportunity that you can get through study abroad. Other things that this can take form of could be things like research opportunities. Many of our students have the privilege to partner up with other professors and get to do some research while they're here at Whitworth. Not uncommon. Some students, for instance, in the engineering department, they can do internships that are paid. Teaching assistantships is another common way where you can get some college credit assigned with that. With internships, most programs do require some level of internship or practicum as part of what you do. I studied psychology here at Whitworth, and I was required to do both research projects and as well some practicums. I know most business majors specifically have a person that is their designated job is to be able to connect students to internships. So when it comes to experiential learning opportunities, there's tons and tons that you can do. And yes, these are a lot of opportunities that you'll likely find at other universities as well. But one of the perks with Whitworth is that because we're small, because we're relational, a lot of these opportunities are a lot more reachable or accessible to the larger majority than it would be at maybe at a larger institution where you might be working with maybe a population of 9,000 students. So as you think about, well, what am I trying to get out of that, right? Thinking about accessibility and being able to reach these opportunities is really important. One of the really neat things too, and with those experiential learning opportunities, there's a unique thing with our academic calendar, and not many universities operate in this way, but Whitworth is a semester-based school. So if you're used to more of the quarter system, semesters is just going to be 4 months long. So we have 4 months in the fall for fall semester, 4 months in the spring for spring semester, but right in the middle in January, we have a 3-week optional opportunity for students to take 3 to 5 credits for $385 flat. So you're not paying per credit, you're paying just for 3 to 5 credits for $385. That could be the equivalent of maybe one class, one 3-credit class, and maybe one credit PE class. This is a great time to go study abroad if you wanted to. You can also opt to totally take that time off. But I have found that for transfer students, Jan term is a really great time to catch up on any of those missing credits that you would have, and just get ahead, right? So it's accessible to all students, regardless of transfer or first year. And as I said, this is a great time to do any part of our off-campus program. So maybe not an exchange program in particular for a full semester, 3 weeks is a great time to just kind of get it out of your system, but know that you can also um, get some college credit for that while also getting to check off some of your bucket list items. So I love that we have something like JanTerm, especially for transfer students. So that is one unique thing that you can kind of consider when you are thinking about what kind of experience you also would like to get and how can you maximize the amount of time that you're spending here so you can feel prepared. Whitworth is also a Christian university. So we are one of our faith-based schools here in Spokane. It's part of our mission. It's very central to our identity as an institution. Our mission is to provide our diverse student body an education of mind and heart. So we're really kind of nourishing this whole person. But in addition to this is to honor God, follow Christ, and serve humanity. We want to empower our students to dive into their faith while they're here. However, we don't require students to get to do something like that and take that next step. We have students who choose to come to Whitworth for non-faith-based reasons, and some students who choose to come here because they want to get that out of their college experience. So wherever you fall on that, know that there is an opportunity for you to both grow in your academics, but also grow in your faith. All of our students have the option to attend chapel. It's an invitational space where students can come in and worship for 30 minutes, not a requirement for all students. However, all of our faculty and staff were all committed Christians from a variety of different denominations. So you get to learn different perspectives and interpretations and really get to have a much more enriching experience when it comes to how faith is integrated into all of our majors and programs and what we do. So it's a really important part of who we are. We want students to ask big questions, or if you're curious or not a single background at all, that's okay. We know that this is a place where students can feel comfortable and taking that step at their own pace. We're a residential campus here. However, transfer students, if you've graduated high school more than 2 years ago, you're not required to live on campus. We do have some residential living spaces for upperclassmen, so students who are more in that junior standing. They're very traditional, so we don't have anything like specifically apartment styles, which is what you might find at some bigger universities, but you're welcome to live on campus if you choose to do so. We have a lot of things going on here. Our student government puts together many of the free activities. If you are a commuter student, so if you don't live on campus but you want to stay connected, our student government has a commuter senator, so they are responsible for creating connection outside of campus, whether that's like a barbecue at the park that's nearby here or just opportunities to play spike ball or connect or anything like that. We have a person that their sole job is to get people connected, even if they're not living here on campus. And most importantly, because we are a school that really embraces that diversity of faith, we also want to embrace students who come from different backgrounds and experiences. We find that that really enriches our campus community where students can get to learn from individuals who think both similar to them, but also totally different. There's a lot of conversations that can happen, genuine connection, opportunities of growth and curiosity. We want this to be the place where students can be exposed to different ideas, but know that you are able to engage with other people and understand where they're coming from, with also being open to hearing some of what students have to say. So we really take a lot of pride in being a space where students can feel welcome regardless of where you stand on any kind of belief, but that you can come in here and have a very intentional conversation with another student or even faculty as well. As I mentioned before, Whitworth University is located in beautiful Spokane, Washington. We are on the eastern side of Washington State, so we are where all four seasons happen. One of the really cool things about Spokane in particular is we are one of the largest cities, second largest city here in the state of Washington. We really take pride in having a lot of the amenities that a city can offer, while also being a place that you can really not feel that big city, the skyscraper buildings and just the crazy downtown. Students can and individuals can really experience Spokane in a variety of different ways, not only because of the seasons, but also because there's so many other things that you can do, especially in the outdoor setting here on campus. Like I said, we sit in a 200-acre campus. Of those 200 acres, we have what we call 40 acres that we promise to never build anything. And this is a space where you can do anything from outdoor frisbee to hiking, mountain biking, and this is all part of Whitworth experience. But if you're also a student that is considering snow sports, because we do get all 4 seasons, we have Mount Spokane about an hour from campus. Whitworth University is an extension of Spokane, so it's not surprising to find students from Whitworth being involved in some way or another in living out that serve humanity part of our mission. So for instance, early in the semester, we do what we call the community building day. And this is early on in the morning, no classes around this time, and groups of students are out serving the greater Spokane community. It could look as simple as going and cleaning by the river or a community garden, just planting, creating something. It's really, we want to give back to this place that we get to share with other individuals and know that our campus too is blessed to have other people to get to come and experience us. If you are from Spokane and maybe you've never ventured this side, we are located north of Spokane, so we still have a lot of the amenities that you might think of, say a Target, a Walmart, things like that. That's always still going to be available for you. So if you're looking for a big city with a small city feel, Spokane is a very perfect place to get to do things like that. Okay, so that was a little bit on Whitworth. Hopefully you're feeling like, God, I can really see myself there. I love the emphasis on the community building, the relationship, the connections, students getting to really pave their own path while they're here. So if you're still interested in wanting to maybe consider Whitworth, whether that's for this fall or even fall 2027, our application process is really, really straightforward. Not a lot of tricks and methods to it. You can see on the screen, we have a free application, and there's 2 methods that you can use to apply to Whitworth. We have our Whitworth application, which is going to take you about 10 to 15 minutes to complete, or you can also apply through the Common App. So some students are applying to multiple schools to see what's going to feel like a good fit for them. Most Washington State schools are in the Common App, but you can apply through that method as well. It's still going to be free. We don't have a preference as to which one you decide to use. It's really going to be up to you and your method. And then you'll notice that all we need from you is your college transcript or transcripts. So if you've attended multiple schools, we do require that students send every single transcript individually for each school. Yes, it's going to be listed as a school in a specific transcript, but in order for us to be able to calculate a cumulative GPA, we do require transcripts from every single school that you've earned any college credits from. It can be unofficial. It doesn't have to be official. It's really straightforward. We can take that for application review purposes, but just know that we need each and every one of those individually. And then our optional materials, such as a writing sample or an essay, these are really good spaces for students to give us some context into their application. As a transfer counselor, I see, there's not a one size fits all for most of our transfer students. There's some students who, have had a pretty normal trajectory with like high school, community college, getting ready. But I also work with students who are adults and have taken time off school or went and served the military and are ready to come back. We see it all. Essays are really helpful context for us to better understand where you're at in this stage in your life. So submitting something like that not only helps us get to know you as a student, but also gives us context into who you are and your ability to be successful here at Whitworth. And then letters of recommendation are also really helpful. Academic or even through an employer, we want to know who you are and how you carry yourself. So if that's you and you want to include that as part of your application, be sure to do that. So that way we can consider all the pieces. A couple of deadlines to consider. Our deadlines are going to be a little bit more pushback from a traditional student. If you are in this call or in this webinar and you're considering potentially coming in the spring, you still have a little bit of time. That application isn't due until December 1st. So if you are maybe finishing out your AA this fall and you're thinking of starting spring, which is February here, that deadline is December 1st. And then our regular admission deadline for fall 26 is July 1st. So if you are in this webinar and you're still considering Whitworth for this fall, we are still accepting applications. That deadline still has a few months to go. So be sure to send us your application as soon as possible. On top of that, make sure that you are also sending us your FAFSA so we can consider you for the best possible financial aid. This ensures that you have all the information that you need to make an educated decision on whether Whitworth will work financially for you. Um, Usually the turnaround time in those from when we receive it is about 2 weeks. So if you haven't done your FAFSA, or maybe you did, or you think you did, just be sure to check your studentaid.gov website and make sure that Whitworth is listed on there. And then lastly, you have until August 1st to let us know your decision. Like I said, transfer deadlines are pushed a little bit more because they give you more time to finish out school. Most quarter-based schools are not done until June, so there's still plenty of time for you to make that decision. You're welcome to make that decision beforehand, but just know that you do have until August 1st to make that decision. Speaking of financial aid, I wanted to touch on how we've moved in the direction of being more clear and transparent about our tuition here at Whitworth. So just this past fall, we rolled out our cost clarity approach to what it really takes to afford Whitworth. In particular, as a private university, most students will see that there is a very high sticker price, and that tends to push students away from thinking that they could come to Whitworth and excel here and have the education that they're looking for. So why we rolled out our cost clarity came from a lot of feedback from students and families who wanted to just have much more clear and transparent method to knowing what is the net tuition price here. So make it more simple and straightforward, just like that it's listed on there. So what we did is we readjusted our tuition from 54,000 to 26,900. Room and meals, if you choose to live on campus, that is 14,900, and our mandatory fees for a total of 43,300. That is including room and meals. However, if you're not living on campus and you're choosing to live at home, your direct cost would be 28,400. So that includes the 26,900 and then your mandatory fees as part of that. So that is just that direct cost of attendance. We do have a variety of scholarships available to bring that cost down. That link, whitworth.edu/scholarships, does have a little bit more that you can look into, but here are some of the most common ones that we get to see from students. Starting with our academic achievement scholarship, this one is based on your college GPA or your cumulative college GPA if you've attended multiple schools. If you've only attended one school, we're going to take a look at that simple GPA, and from there, you can identify the amount of your scholarship. So if you are between a 3.0 and a 3.29, you get a $2,000 scholarship, 3.3 and above, 3,000, then 3.6 to 3.89, 6,000, and then 3.9 and above. College GPA or cumulative GPA, it's a $9,000 academic achievement scholarship. If you don't remember this table, that link on the top, whitworth.edu/scholarships, will have that table for you, and you can kind of look at those amounts. Our academic achievement scholarship is renewable every year up to 4 years, so it'll follow you while you're here at Whitworth. The only reason that scholarship might be removed would be if you go below a 2.0 GPA, but we want to make sure that we do interventions before making that decision. Our university need-based grant is going to be based on your FAFSA, so it's important that we receive that so we can consider you for up to $3,000 in that. If you signed up for the College Bound program in high school and you have been using that maybe at the community college or still have some eligibility, we will honor the College Bound scholarship here at Whitworth and also add an additional 2,000 Whitworth Bound scholarship. That one is renewable so long as you stay College Bound eligible, which also means you want to make sure you do your FAFSA every year so we can continue to determine your College Bound eligibility. Our visit scholarship is an opportunity to get $1,000 for just coming and visiting campus. We have one more event coming up this Friday. I know it's a bit short notice, but it's an opportunity to get a $1,000 visit scholarship. That registration will close tomorrow at noon if you're interested in coming to visit. But if you're just wanting to get a better sense of campus, we also offer summer tours, and that schedule is already published. For students who are maybe dependents or somehow connected to a former service member, we also have up to $800 in a military service scholarship. If you are in this call, or maybe you are a military or former service member, a veteran, and you have GI Bill, or 9/11 to use towards your academic expenses, we are happy to work with you and we can connect you to some resources to learn about how that works here at Whitworth. And then our talent and participation scholarships, those are opportunities for things like art, music. So if you're talented in any of those, speech and debate, things like that, there is some scholarship money as well. I would say applying early is the benefit of getting some access to some of the, at least the talent and participation scholarships for up to 2,000. Okay, so diving deeper into our transfer policies, I like to spend a little bit of time here on this two slides that I have for you, simply because it's a very common question and I want you to be able to understand how it works here at Whitworth. So our main general rule of thumb is majority of classes that are 100 level or above with a C or higher from an accredited university are easily going to transfer here at Whitworth. There's stipulations as to how much you can transfer from a 4-year and a 2-year university. So 94 semester credits from a 4-year and up to 64 semester credits from a 2-year institution. So if you attend a quarter-based school, or sorry, university or college, we will make that conversion for you. So usually 90 quarter credits is the equivalent to 60 semester credits. So that's the conversion that happens when you get to do that. One of the main reasons why that is, especially with 94, is our in-residency credit requirement is 32 credits. So that's if you have more than 94 semester credits, we will readjust that back to 94 so you can complete those 32 that are Whitworth is our in-residency requirement. We're happy to provide official evaluations for students once you've committed to Whitworth, also submitted your enrollment deposit, and have sent us your official transcripts. The registrar office is able to assign credit once we have those two things on file for you. And then that way, we are happy to connect you with a faculty member to have a more in-depth conversation of what you might be looking at throughout your time. If you are in this call and you are coming from a community college, whether it's in Washington State, Colorado, Idaho, Oregon, or Montana, we are very transfer credit friendly for those states in particular. You'll see some of the benefits that we have here are junior standing, so 60 semester credits. And then most importantly, most of your general education requirements are going to be waived with the exception of 3 courses here at Whitworth. So in more of a practical way, what you're coming into is you only have 3 more classes to fulfill for your general education requirements, and then you can spend the rest of your time here at Whitworth focusing specifically on your program requirements. So with your AA or your AS, you won't need to take another fine arts, another PE, unless that's your specific major, right? If you're an art major, you'll have more art classes to take, but those general education classes that you took through a community college, those are going to be taken care of by your AA. The most important thing is that when we get your official transcript from your community college is that your AA degree or AS, Associate of Science degree, is posted on there. That way the registrar office can assign credit for you. AASs, Applied of Associate Sciences, are don't fall under this category, but if you have any classes that are kind of on the academic and less vocational or technical, you can also earn credit on those. Vocational and technical classes are generally non-transferable to our program. I'm not the only one that's rooting for you in this process. I have a lot of experience working through this transfer world, but I also have 2 awesome counterparts that help me navigate some of these questions. Adrian is our admissions counselor working with transfer students outside of Spokane. So if you're outside of Spokane, but you're still in Washington State, Adrian is your person, or if you're also from out of state, she would be a great resource for you. Her email is right there. I work with students from Spokane, but I can also answer all of the general questions that you might have about transferring to Whitworth and what that process would look like. And then lastly, and most importantly, Phil Labrie is our director for military and veterans. So he would be a great resource if you have any military benefits, such as the GI Bill that you're wanting to use while you're here at Whitworth. So we're here for you. Reach out to us if you have any questions. We'd love to help you navigate this process. If you're considering applying for fall 27, our application will open sometime in September. So just be on the lookout for that. We will start reviewing applications around the month of October, November, and we can get back to you pretty quickly. So thank you so much for spending time with me today and seeing if Whitworth could be a great transfer option for you. Hopefully, this won't be the last time that we make some contact with you. So be sure to reach out to any of us via email or just our general admissions email, which is admissions@whitworth.edu. Thank you so much. I can hang back if you have any questions or just throw those in the chat. But thank you so much for your time and have a great day.